Hi, in this video we are going to be covering the most important parts of the Hermitage Museum, and we believe that this will help you to see the museum on your own when you come here. Let's go! This gigantic marble ambassador staircase where we are starting is big enough to be a separate hall and is the first thing you see when you enter the museum. It has many typical features of Baroque style: the beautiful swing of marble banisters, gilded decorations, 2 rows of large windows, and it is the largest and the most impressive of the palace's staircases. It leads to the staterooms of the Winter Palace. This next room here is dedicated to Russia's military glory and was made to honor the generals who brought victories for the empire on the battlefield. The most notable decoration of the room is the 19th century chandeliers made of a mixture of bronze and gold. We proceed into Peter the Great's room, called in honor of Russia's most favorite ruler. Between the 2 jasper columns we can see a gala portrait of Peter with the goddess of wisdom Minerva, and under the portrait the throne chair. The walls are covered with crimson velvet made in the French city of Lyon, with double-headed eagles embroidered in silver. Next, we enter the Emblem Hall, where Catherine II of Russia used to receive the provincial aristocracy. It is the 3rd largest room in the Winter Palace. This here is the palace church, called the Church of the Vernacle, designed like the main staircase in Baroque style, and it's one of the recently restored rooms in the Hermitage. The large portrait gallery here is dedicated to the War of 1812, when Imperial Russia was at war with Napoleon's France. There are more than 300 portraits of the Russian generals who participated in that war. The 3 large portraits on horseback at the end of the gallery, painted in ceremonial style, are the portrait of Russian Emperor Alexander I, the portrait of Friedrich Wilhelm III, the King of Prussia, and the portrait of their other ally, the Austrian Emperor Franz I. After this room, we enter the most attractive and the most significant room of the palace, St. George's Hall. When it was designed, they used 2 kinds of material: white Carrara marble from Italy and gilded bronze. It was the main reception hall of the Winter Palace, and it was here that Russian tsars made their coronation speeches. The chandeliers are decorated with double-headed eagles, emblem of the Russian Empire. The throne chair is original and was in use before the Russian Revolution. Next, we are leaving the building of the Winter Palace and are walking down the Romanov Gallery, which connects the reception rooms of the Winter Palace to the building of the small Hermitage. The exhibition here presents relics of art dating back to the Middle Ages that come from all over Europe. The highlight of small Hermitage building is the Pavilion Hall. In the old days, this room was used for private receptions and theatrical performances. In the 18th century, this room was regarded as a curiosity room, and the peacock clock was one of its wonders, as the mechanism makes the peacock move and turn. On the other side of this room you will find a hanging garden, where the real peacocks used to walk around to the surprise of all of the guests. The tour proceeds into the building of the Old Hermitage, where the main highlight is the museum's collection of paintings that starts with the Italian art. The Italian display is one of the richest in the museum and features all the most famous Italian masters known to the world: Botticelli, Leonardo da Vinci, Titian, Raphael, and Michelangelo. You've got to make sure that you don't miss the famous Loggia of Raphael. It is the only original-sized replica of the famous Loggia of Raphael of the Vatican Palace in Rome. We have stepped into the new Hermitage building, where the absolute highlights are the famous Skylight Halls. The plain undercoated walls of the hall provide enough space for the large-scale canvases, and the sun shining through the massive glazed areas and the ceiling pass the even light on them. The vases of lapis and malachite are not solid. They are made in the technique known as Russian mosaic, when thin and carefully polished pieces of stone were pasted onto the metal or stone base, and these plates were later arranged to look like a solid piece of stone. The rooms here feature Baroque Italian artists of 16th 18th centuries. Two of the Skylight Halls feature Italian art. The last one, though, is housing the collection of Spanish art, where you can see the works by Velázquez, Goya, and Murillo. In the room next door, you will find paintings by El Greco. One of the most visited rooms in the Hermitage is the Rembrandt room. The Hermitage has 24 paintings by him. This collection is the second in the world to the Amsterdam collection. The highlights are Danny, which was once almost destroyed by one of the visitors, the return of the prodigal son, the Holy Family, Descent from the Cross. This covers most of the Hermitage highlights you can see in about 2 hours' time. Now, after walking down this staircase and walking through the hall of 20 columns past the large jasper vase through the hall of ancient Egyptian art, you will end up in the gallery where you have bookstores, cafes, and will eventually find the exit. We hope that this video will help you plan your visit and make the most of it. That was awesome!